Awesome. All right, so this is my second year in a row doing this, and I know last year, you guys remember the handstand? I was going to do a backflip. That was the vision I had, and I had that in November. The gymnast who I take care of, she told me it would take me 6 months to learn how to do a backflip, so we're going to wait till the next one if I get invited back from Jill, all right? But I got some great information to share with you all, something that I haven't seen brought to the chiropractic profession yet, and it's a webinar I did for some of the business clients I have. And it really transformed their life and the way they thought about their businesses. And it's something I'm going to share with all of you today. It's an hour-long webinar I did, but I'm going to condense it down into roughly between 18 to 20 minutes for you all. And if you ever want to see any of our webinars, by the way, if you go to my website, it's just draustencohen.com. We have live free webinars you can watch anytime you want to watch them, as well as Monday morning motivations and everything else you want to get. So a lot of free information that's out there. But the topic I want to share with you today is called Becoming a Chiropractic Chameleon for Massive Success. What do chameleons do? What do we know chameleons do? Change colors, right? They adapt to change. Why? Because if they don't adapt to change, they become the prey. Versus being the predator by being able to adapt and dominate the insects. And what I want from all of you to understand today and get is how to become that chameleon to dominate the marketplace no matter where you go. How to become the industry standard for your practice in your life. Anyone want that? Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm going to share some strategies that I've implemented in my practice, and we're going to go over some of those today. And anytime I talk to students or I talk to chiropractors who are in the profession who have been doing it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I see a lot of stagnancy, and I see a lot of people become complacent, and they're not changing. Who was just next door for the President's Luncheon? So one thing I got from that, Dr. Riekman pretty much showed what my talk is going to be about. He showed you how Life University as a business has been adapting and evolving through the times and changes with everything that they have going on. For instance, this seminar, when I first spoke at in 2008, used to be Life Source. And who remembers Life Source, right? And now it's evolved and adapted to where it is today, Life Vision. Did they do Life Source and maybe it didn't work and they quit doing Life Source? No. They figured a way to make it adapt and change so it became successful to where it is today. So as chiropractors, sometimes we do these things and we do these events and we implement strategies and we implement systems and they don't work. So what do? We stop doing them. Versus what a chameleon does, a chameleon adapts and it changes to its environment. And I'm going to go through that today. Alvin Toffler, who's a futurist who understands trends, said, change is not merely necessary to life, it is life. And I want to give you some great examples of that today. Here's a big one. Uber versus the taxi cab industry. Who here has Uber on their phone? Okay, almost the entire room. Taxi cab industry, 1905 in New York City started with 600 cabs. And what they did was, in 1950s, they decided, hey, let's make a change, let's adapt to the times. So what they did is they created a dispatch instead of having instead of having that box right there. So they made it able for people to call in to get a cab. 2007, they made it mandatory for them to start taking credit cards. So in over 100 years, the taxi cab industry has only made a couple changes. Uber comes in, and they say, what is the taxi cab company not doing, and how can we dominate the transportation marketplace? They have that real sexy, sleek app. You go onto it. If I want to go to my office, I need to get there real quick, I'll go to the Uber X. It's really cheap. It's efficient. I can be there very fast for a very minimal cost. Let's say I'm going on a date with my wife. Maybe we'll use Uber Select because we want to pick an Audi, a BMW, or a Mercedes. Maybe I'm going out with a group of guy friends. I'll use the Uber SUV, and a group of my buddies and I will we'll take a SUV, a Tahoe, and we'll take that to wherever we're going for dinner. And then on the app, I can click split fare, and it'll automatically split it between us. My credit card information is stored in there, and it automatically includes tip. I don't have to whip out my credit cards. I don't have to whip out any cash. I don't have to think about tipping. I can see the car where it is at that moment in time. They've taken everything what the taxi cab company wasn't doing, and they've integrated into this app. Who here loves Uber? It's dominating the taxi cab industry. These taxi cab people, they are trying to file lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit to shut them down. I want all of you to be the Uber in your cities. I want you to, no matter what happens, no matter how many chiropractors open up in your town, you dominate the marketplace. My practice, I feel like, is in 2020. A lot of these chiropractors who I meet, they're still in the 1980s. I don't care who opens up next door to me, across the street, upstairs. It doesn't matter. My practice is so advanced and so ahead of the times, and we're constantly evolving and adapting, and we still have a lot of work to do, but it's moving in the right direction. We're not quitting and stopping. We're trying to stay in touch with the times. Let's do another one. Who here's ever heard of this company? Right? One of the greatest examples, Dr. Jason Deitch talked about this last night, Facebook. Facebook is checked average per person daily 14 times. Is the second most looked at app right behind people checking their email. So who remembers when Facebook first started? Fortunately, I was right when I graduated college, so I don't have to worry about things be posted on Facebook. But I remember name, photo, basic details, that was it. You had your name, your picture, your interests, your hobbies, the school you went to, so you could connect with people you graduated high school with, graduated college with. It was a way to connect with everyone. By the way, am I going too fast for all of you? You all right? Okay. Sometimes I speak a little fast. I get very excited. This is great information that I haven't shared with a whole lot of people, so I'm really excited to bring it all to you. 2006, they start developing the news feed. In 2008, they bring the news feed to the forefront. By this time, they have 100 million users. What are they doing? They're figuring out what do people want, and then they're implementing it into their app, okay? Then in 2010, they became about the photos because they started to realize that people want to start looking at other people's photos. They don't care so much about where they went to school and their interests and their hobbies. You know, people in today's generation, their brains are constantly circulating. They can't pay, they have like the 80 attention span of a mosquito. You know, I mean, they've got like no attention anymore. So they're constantly evolving. Then what happens is Flickr gets really popular, so they buy Flickr. 2011, they developed the timeline because their goal was to keep you on Facebook all day long. You don't just go on there and check a couple things. You stay on there, and you're constantly seeing people's news feeds. By the way, if I can get a cup of water, that'd be awesome. In 2012, who here has Instagram? 2012, I don't know if you know, but they bought Instagram for $1 billion. Instagram, because they saw the evolution of Instagram and how it's becoming one of the most popular apps that's out there, which it is right now. More people are now moving towards Instagram, and some people are starting to get away from Facebook because they'd rather be on Instagram. Oh, thank you so much. In 2014, they started focusing on more communication. Who remembers the acquisition with WhatsApp and Facebook? $19 billion, because they saw the trends of people wanting to communicate efficiently. Who here, instead of texting with their friends, sends Facebook messages to their friends instead of using text messages sometimes? Yeah, almost every single person in this room, right? Facebook sees trends, Facebook adapts, Facebook is the industry standard, and nothing can shut Facebook down. Here's an example of someone who didn't adapt. Who here still has a MySpace account? Let me see it. One person. And that was probably a joke. There's no one still has a MySpace account. Because MySpace didn't adapt. MySpace is like the taxi cab company. Facebook, Uber company. So I want to share with you some examples that my practice has implemented, integrated, that we've done that have started to adapt with the times. And I could share almost everything that we've done, but I'm going to give you just 4 small examples of what we've done in our practice and integrated, and hopefully that'll start giving you some stimulation of things you can do. I'll also show some pictures as well as the practice so you can see a model of how we've built this practice and what it looks like in today's world. But I don't want a lot of people to take what I'm saying the wrong way, because here's what has not changed. The power that made the body heals the body. Has that changed? No. Chiropractic philosophy has not changed. The principles haven't changed. So we don't need to adapt that way by bringing drugs in and PT and all this other garbage that's out there, okay? So what I'm talking about is how we communicate, the strategies, the systems that we use in our practice to relay that principle and philosophy to our patients, okay? So don't think what I'm saying and take it the wrong way by thinking what I'm talking about is integrating more into our practice. I'm a very principled chiropractor. I mean, our hardcore focus is the chiropractic adjustment. That's what we specialize in, and that's what we're really good at. So this is all about how can you adapt to times by changing the message, but also your strategies and your systems and everything else that you do. We're going to skip that one. Okay, here's what we've done to adapt. Communication is quicker, phone calls are becoming outdated, and emails are becoming less and less. In our practice, we do retreats 3 times a year with my CA and my associate doctor. And so we go 3 times a year. Last year we went to Birmingham, Chattanooga, and we went to the Ritz-Carlton at Reynolds Plantation. I take them out for a weekend getaway. We go through every system, every strategy, every phone call, all of our new patients for the year, our goals for the next year. Everything in the practice we go through and we figure out how can we make it the best of the best. That's what our vision is for our practice. And we do that 3 times a year. One of the ones we went to in Chattanooga, we were sitting down in a coffee shop and we said to ourselves, wow, if we see 100 people in a day, we had 15 people that missed. So we had a 15% missed appointment ratio. How do we get that number down? Because we look at all of our numbers, and that was one of the numbers we noticed. So what we did is we bought a cell phone for the practice, not one of our cell phones. We spent money and bought a cell phone for the practice, and we started texting our patients 30 minutes when they were late. Now if we see 100 a day, we'll only have 4 to 5 missed appointments. So our number has drastically dropped as far as missed appointment ratio. People communicate much better with the text messages, and when we ask our patients, we say, how do you like this text message? Because we wanted to know if it was annoying them at first. They love it. People won't check their emails anymore. Email's becoming outdated. Email was cool a long time ago. It's not so cool anymore. iPads, not that cool anymore. People are going back to the basics of computers. Hopefully I didn't offend anyone there with the iPad thing. But you get the gist of where I'm going with this, where how do you adapt? How do you evolve? How do you become chameleon-like for your practice? Another thing, customer service is a high priority for people, and they're willing to pay for more value and service. Hey, I'm willing to pay more for a $50 haircut than I am for a $15 haircut because of the value I would get for a $50 haircut. And I have really great hair. I need to work. No, I was kidding. But most people, too, in today's world, they do the same thing. I'm not the only person. People are willing to pay for what they value. I belong to a CrossFit gym. We take care of almost every CrossFitter in Atlanta pretty much. They were paying $150 to $200 a month for a gym where they could go to LA Fitness down the street for only $30 a month, and they could go to tons of different LA Fitnesses within the community and check in with that one swipe. But people are willing to pay for the value in the customer service. So, first visit, every new patient gets an ice pack. Second visit, they get a follow-up email giving them instructions and things they can do to get better results because we create YouTube videos for them. They get a phone call, especially right after their adjustment. When we do their re-exam and we're going through everything with them, we give them a t-shirt as a congratulations for them. Every single patient that refers someone, no matter whether that person committed to care or not, gets a thank you card with a free 30-minute massage. Usually with our patients, we're also listening to things that they like, things they enjoy. One of our patients loves baking bread. He's referring 6 people in a month. We gave him $100 to Whole Foods to let him go buy some bread and make some bread for us. But we like to listen to our patients, and we want to get them things and give them value. They're willing to pay more in our office, and we're, just so you know, we're a cash practice pretty much. We're out of network with every insurance company. We're about 90–95% cash. We do very little insurance. We do no personal injury at all. We've started canceling that from the practice as of last year. But people are coming and paying the dollar because of the value that we provide for them. And if you ask any of my associate or any of the Peak students who've been with us, they'll tell you the same thing. Our most precious commodity is time. People love efficiency. In fact, this morning, we saw about 70 people this morning. I worked from 8 to 12 this morning. And within that time frame, a few of the patients who aren't my patients, who are my associates' patients, said to me, they go, wow, that was really fast, but I feel so good. That was such a great adjustment. And I was talking to them about, present consciousness. Listen, when we're in here, man, we're in the zone. And we want to make sure that your time, we know it's precious, so we have systems set up in our practice, because people in today's world, they want to go to your office, sit there for an hour, and wait all this time. They want to be in, they want to be out, boom, 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 but they also want to get that value in there. So here's a little example of what our practice looks like. All right, that's the front right when you walk in. There's 2 iPad stations. That's where you sign in. So there wouldn't even have to be a CA at the front desk. They just automatically sign in using their phone number and the day they were born. Then when they come around, they automatically set themselves up on the traction units. They already know how to do this. We train them on their second visit how to do this. So they come in. I'm still adjusting. I don't have to worry about any of this. They come in. We don't have a tech CA or anything. They come in and they start sitting on the wobble chair. Then they do their corrective traction work. They come over, get adjusted. That thing you see in the corner, that's a hospitality area. We have a hospitality area because we love our patients. We want to give them great hospitality. So we have water that we have on there, and we also have raw almonds they can get. Complimentary. We don't charge for it. It's always full to the brim. We have a very prosperity conscious, so we don't let that go below half. So you always want to make sure that that thing stays high if you have a hospitality area, which I think is a great thing for every single practitioner to have in their office, is a hospitality suite for their patients. Cashews, almonds, all great things. Finally, they set themselves up on these traction beds where they lie on their back, and these are remote controlled. I don't have to walk back there with them. They click the on button, it automatically turns on. They sit back there for 6-7 minutes by themselves, and then they're out of there because their appointment's already scheduled and they've already paid for care. That's it. The time is very efficient. In and out, maybe 15 minutes, but that's a lot of stuff they get in a 15-minute span. How we've adapted? Canine marketing, constant and never-ending improving. So last year, my associate wanted to create an event, and we called it the Atlanta Warrior Moms. And it was a group of women who already have kids, and they can get together and bond, and we had pediatricians come out, we had nutritionists come out, we spoke about chiropractic, we did an event called a Juice and Jog. And so we did this real great event, and it didn't work. And we did it for about 3 to 6 months, and we noticed that it wasn't working. People weren't showing up. So we said, instead of saying, let's cancel this event, how can we adapt? How can we evolve? How can we change? How can we make it better? So we created Creating the Optimal Birth Experience, where we partnered with different practitioners in the field and in our community. We have a pediatrician, a lactation consultant, a doula, midwife, perinatologist, birthing education classes, and we have all these people in our community that we've bonded, we've created this event right here. And now, we have about 10 people that show up once a month at these events. So how are you adapting? How are you evolving to change in these times? Do you just put on an event and it doesn't work and then you quit? Or are you in the game and you're trying to become like an Uber or Facebook and you're learning to adapt to the times and changes of your own practice, becoming chameleon-like? That is the key word I want everyone to get from this. So as I wrap up, here's one thing I'll share. You have two groups of people. You have one group who they're either going to fail in practice or they're in practice right now and they're staying very status quo. They're living for mediocrity. There's another group that is dominating their marketplaces, which is the small few. Dominating, crushing the market. The difference between the two is the people on this side won't stop until they get the results they need. They do not give up. They adapt. They are chameleons. Uber and Facebook will never give up. They've adapted to these times and changes. So the most important question I have and the point that you should be at in your life right now and thinking after this talk is, which group do you want to belong to? So as Alvin Toffler said, change is not necessary to life, it is life. And like the chameleon, I want all of you to adapt, change, and be successful chiropractors. Thank you.